Teresa. All right, we'd like to call the meeting of the Town of Hilton Head Islands Planning Commission for June 2nd to order. And Teresa, are we in compliance with FOIA?
Yes, sir, we are.
Thank you, Teresa. And Teresa, would you please call the roll?
Yes, sir. Mr. Perry?
Here.
Mr. Campbell?
Here.
Mr. Stevens?
I know he's there.
Mr. Stevens, I see you're on the line. We can mark him as present. Ms. McGowan?
Here.
Mr. Scanlon?
Here.
Mr. Alfred?
Here.
Mr. O'Neill?
Here.
Mr. Christian?
Here.
And Mr. Theodore is excused.
Thank you, Teresa. Does staff have any changes to our agenda?
No, sir.
And can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
Okay, I got Alan and Leslie popped up first. If you would call the roll, I would appreciate it if there are any changes for any of the commission, if you bring it up at that point. Teresa?
Mr. Perry?
Approve.
Mr. Campbell?
Approve.
Mr. Stevens? Mr. Stevens, are you there? We'll move forward. Ms. McGowan?
Approve.
Mr. Scanlon?
Approve.
Mr. Alfred?
Approve.
Mr. O'Neill?
Approve.
Mr. Christian?
Approve. All right, we have the approval of our minutes from May 19th, 2021. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Stephen? And Michael, are there any additions or corrections from among the commissioners? All right, all those in favor, put your hand up in the air. Say aye.
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 Mark, do I hear you saying aye?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you get that, Teresa?
Yes, sir.
I think we've lost Mr. Stevens.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, appearance by citizens, Teresa?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Public comments concerning agenda items were to be submitted electronically via the Open Town Hall portal. Those comments were provided to the Commission for review and made part of the official meeting record. In addition to submitting comments on the portal, citizens were provided the opportunity to call into the meeting to comment. However, we do not have any citizens signed up to speak during today's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. All right, we have no unfinished business, and we have new business, and we are opening up a public hearing on LMO amendments. And I believe we have seen these amendments before. They went to the town council, and they were revised by town council, and I believe they're sending those back to us for our review. And the town of Hilton Head Island is proposing to amend chapters 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, and appendix B and D of the Land Management Ordinance, LMO, to add and revise the following sections. And Teresa, can I just have you incorporate this entire paragraph in, or do I need to read every word of it?
Mr. Chairman, I believe we can just incorporate that into the record.
Okay, so ordered. And Dr. DeBose, I believe you are going to provide us with an overview of
Yes,
these
sir.
particular amendments. We want
Yes,
to
sir.
welcome you
Thank
to the
you.
meeting. And I see that Council Member Becker is on the line. We welcome Council Member Becker to the meeting as well. So Dr. DeBose, you are on.
Yes, thank you, sir. Good morning. Thank you for having me here today. I am Sharice DeBose, Historic Neighborhoods Preservation Administrator for the record. So to give an overview, in 2019, Town Council voted to approve the Gullah Geechee Project Report Recommendations Framework. In 2020, staff began working on these top priority projects. And they began with drafting amendments for the proposed Historic Neighborhoods Preservation Overlay District. The Gullah Task Force recommended that the proposed HNPO district move to LMO committee in September. The LMO committee made their revisions and recommended that the proposed district move forward to the Planning Commission. And in preparation for the Planning Commission, if you remember, letters were sent to the affected properties and signs were posted. And Planning Commission met in October to discuss these, the district. Move forward in 2021, Public Planning Committee considered the overlay and made the recommendation that Town Council approve the family compound and family subdivision applications in April, with certain revisions that family compound and family subdivision amendment should be revised to include a historic neighborhoods boundaries district map and language that specifies further reductions to buffers and setbacks would require a variance from the Board of Zoning Appeals. So staff returned to Planning Commission in April, if you remember, because Town Council recommended a text amendment change that must be reviewed by the Planning Commission before it is adopted. So when the family compound and family subdivision were moving forward, sans the district, we had to revisit you again. So in addition, Town Attorney Curtis Coltrane reviewed the proposed amendments for family compound and family subdivision, and he determined that those applications are a use with specific conditions based on the following. The fact that family compound and family subdivision applications are permitted only within the historic neighborhoods, and that district map has been added to your LMO amendments. And there are specific definition with family, spouse, parents, biologically, legally adopted children, and extended family. And that the property must be in the family since 1965. Based on these revisions, family compound and family subdivision are used with specific conditions, and it became necessary to have another public hearing and return to Planning Commission. And because these are text amendments, only a legal ad was necessary rather than the mass mailings and the posting of signs. The purpose of family compound and family subdivision amendments is to encourage property retention among Gullah property owners by easing development standards and honor the communal living traditions among the Native Islanders. There are property owners who can benefit, and there are property owners actually waiting to use these applications right now. So staff recommends that Planning Commission vote to move forward a recommendation to PPC on the family compound and family subdivision LMO amendments. And thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you, Doctor. Do we have any members of the public that would wish to comment on this, Teresa?
No, sir, we do not.
Okay. Well, we will go down the roll, and if there is a question you have of Dr. DeBose or any other staff members, Leslie, as chair of the LMO committee, do you have anything to add before we go through our questioning among the commissioners?
Not at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. All right, Teresa, would you call the roll for discussion or questions? If you have a question or a comment, please raise it at that time.
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. Ms. McGowan, you would be up first.
Okay, I don't have any questions at this point.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Stevens, is that you? Who signed on?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we can, LaVarn.
Okay, I'm on the phone. I apologize.
Mr. Stevens, Sharice just gave her presentation on the LMO amendments. Did you have any questions or comments?
Well, I think I should probably know it by now, so I'm sorry I missed the presentation. I'm sure it was spectacular. I have no questions at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Campbell?
I have one question. Do you have an estimate on how many family members are waiting for this to pass?
Um, there, it's hard to tell you that specific number, but I would say around 3 to 5 families maybe.
Okay.
And more specific would come through the plan reviewers who get those applications first, but I was brought in on a couple of them, yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you. Mr. Alfred?
No questions.
Mr. Scanlon?
Yes, Doctor, in addition to what you said in your outline, were there any other changes that town council made to the proposals that went after it went through planning commission?
No, sir. Just the changes that I mentioned, just adding the map in, just making sure that any further reductions to buffers and setbacks go through BZA. And those are the only two really additions to that. Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Perry?
No questions at this time.
Mr. O'Neill?
No question.
Mr. Christian?
Yeah, two questions, Dr. DeBose. I understand that Beaufort County has a similar LMO program for family compounds. Is that accurate?
That is accurate. They have a family compound that's a little bit more restrictive than what we're doing, but yes, they do.
Has that program been successful in meeting those Native Islanders that do not, I say Native Islanders, natives of Beaufort County who are eligible for that program? Has that helped those folks?
That actually requires further research, and I've been trying to get in contact with the person who was over it and still waiting on a phone call back, but I'm happy to pursue that question further.
Thank you, Doc. And why 1965? Why was that date chosen as the cutoff date?
1956 was when the bridge was built, so most of the families, the Native Islanders, obtained their property prior to that time.
Understood. Thank you for that. Okay. We've had a first round of questions. Is there a motion to recommend to the town council that these LMO amendments be approved?
So moved.
All right. Thank you, Michael. Is there a second? Leslie, second?
Yep.
All right. Teresa, if you would call the roll, and if you have an additional comment at that time, when your name is called, please provide it. Teresa?
Mr. Perry?
Approve.
Mr. Campbell?
Approve.
Mr. Stevens?
Approve.
Ms. McGowan?
Approve.
Mr. Scanlon?
Approve.
Mr. Alfred?
Approve.
Mr. O'Neill?
Approve.
Mr. Christian?
Approved. The motion passes unanimously to recommend these changes to the town council. They go get back again to the town council, Doctor?
They go to PPC this afternoon at 3.
And then they will forward them, if they so desire, to town council.
Yes, and that will be on the June 15th meeting.
Okay, so that we can have these changes memorialized by the town council by the end of June.
Actually, July would be the earliest we could do it.
So it has to go through 2 readings again, Doctor?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
So this is a revised first reading that will happen on June 15th, and then second reading proposed for July 20th.
Okay, because I understand from your comments, there are several families that are waiting for this ordinance to be passed, so they may take advantage of it. And obviously, the sooner the better.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Doctor. Nice work,
Thank you.
as always. All right, the next item on our agenda, the chair and the vice chair are retiring and will be leaving the Planning Commission at our next June meeting. Leslie McGowan, who is chair of our LMO committee, will also be departing, as well as Todd Theodore, which leaves us to the task of electing new leadership, which will start on July 1st of 2020. And a nominating committee was constituted of myself, Leslie, and John Campbell, and we met this morning and discussed who we would recommend or nominate for the position of chair and vice chair for leadership next year. And it was unanimous that we nominate Mike Scanlon for the position of chair and Alan Perry for the position of vice chair. And we will entertain any other nominations from the floor at this time. All right, well, hearing none, we'll close nominations. Is there a motion to approve the recommendation of the nominating committee that Mike Scanlon be appointed as chair and that Alan Perry be appointed as vice chair?
So moved.
All right, thank you, Stephen. Is there a second?
I'm on
I'll
the committee.
second it.
I don't know if I can second it.
All right, I got
I'll look at each
John
other.
a hair before Leslie. So we have Stephen and we have John. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, anyone
Aye.
opposed? And LeVarn, did I hear you say aye?
I did say aye. Can you hear me?
I
Yep.
can. And Mark, just for the record, did you say aye?
Enthusiastically, yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, congratulations, Michael and Alan. And, you know, Leslie is retiring as LMO committee chair, and those are going to be some very, very big shoes to fill. So, you know, Michael and Alan, with the new leadership, new appointments coming in, you'll have to cull through that and, you know, make the necessary appointments as appropriate in July. So, you know, be thinking about that, because that's going to be a mighty task. There's going to be a lot of amendments that are coming down the pike. And Alan, I'm sure you're going to be out of the rules area and into a lot busier atmosphere.
Sure, absolutely.
So congratulations to both Michael and Alan, and thank you both for stepping up into those leadership positions.
If, Mr. Chairman, if I might, I just wanted to say that I can only hope that Alan and I and the rest of the commissioners will be able to run the commission in the same professional manner that you have for the last several years. And we want to thank you for your service and that of LaVon and our retiring commissioners.
Thank you for your kind words. They're very much appreciated.
I have a question.
Go ahead, LaVon. I have one more item of business on the nominating. Can you hold it for a second?
Sure.
All right. We also nominated Teresa Haley as our secretary. And there apparently were no other nominations, but at this point, number one, I would like to sing the accolades of Teresa. You know, as chairman, Michael and Alan, you will learn that you are on speed dial and speed email with Teresa almost on a daily basis. And she just does a magnificent job making you look very, very good. So we really appreciate everything that Teresa does to keep the business of the Planning Commission moving forward. So I'll entertain a motion that Teresa be appointed as our secretary.
So moved.
All right, Michael,
Second.
thank you. All right, Alan, you got the second that time. All in favor? Aye.
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 Mark?
Aye.
Mark, I hear you aye, and LaVon, I hear you aye, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Thank you. Unanimous. Congratulations again, Teresa.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, commissioners.
Okay, LaVon, back to you. You had a comment.
I just had a question. Do we know of any of the incoming candidates yet for the Planning Commission?
Yeah.
I do not. Michael may have some insights into that, but I do not.
I do not. No.
Okay, I believe those were going to the council, either the last meeting, Ann, were they appointed?
Sir, we don't have those names yet, but we'll send them to you when they're available. Thank you.
Okay, I see Councilmember Harkins has popped up. So I believe they were either appointed at the last meeting or they're going to be appointed at the next council meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Jennifer, do you have any insight into the appointments at this time?
I was just going to say that I agree that it's my understanding they'll be appointed at the next town council meeting. They have completed the interviews and I believe are preparing their recommendation.
Okay, that's where I thought it was. So once those appointments are made, Michael and Alan, you'll need to look at the talent that you have already on the commission, which is quite formidable, and then the new people coming on. Okay, commission business. Don't believe we have any further business. We do have a meeting, one more meeting on June 16th, which will be the final meeting of this commission. That's my commission business and chairman's report. Todd Theodore is not on the line. I don't think there's anything on the CIP. Ann, is there to report out? I noted in today's newspaper that there was a resolution, I don't know if it's passed yet, to name the lake at Jarvis Creek Park after Scott Liggett, which is a very nice tribute to Scott.
It is.
Well, very well deserving. Michael, I always ask you the same question, and you'll be asking someone else that question. Anything on the comp plan?
Nothing new to report other than it's great.
All right, LaVarn, anything on the Gullah Geechee Task Force? We just moved several recommendations on their way. Any comments on that?
Yeah, I want to certainly thank the commission for moving the family compound and family subdivision forward. I appreciate your support through the process and your continued support in the future, and certainly want to recognize Dr. DeBose for her work and staying steadfast with keeping these items moving. We canceled our June 7th task force meeting, anticipating there will be some movement in mid-June with the council, and at our next task force meeting we'll have more to report. We are certainly interested in what's going on with the 278 corridor project and the widening and the impact on the Stony community and the entire community as a whole. That's all I have to report from our task force.
Thank you very much, LaVarn. LMO, anything, Leslie?
Yes, we do have a meeting scheduled for June 16th. I think it's going to be at 1 o'clock. And the staff is introducing the first sets of 2021 LMO amendments.
Madam Chair, I told Teresa that I would be unavailable at 1 o'clock that day. And I don't know if that's in stone yet or not, but.
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't heard back. I guess it's originally scheduled for 2 o'clock.
I think I could make 2.
Planning Commission at 3. So at any rate, it's on June 16th.
Okay. Thank you, Teresa. I'm sorry. Thank you, Leslie. All right, Alan, as always, anything on rules?
We have been busy doing nothing.
Yep. Amen. And anything on the staff report?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I just wanted to note that for the June 16th agenda, there was a zoning map amendment application advertised and letters were sent to adjacent property owners. That application has been withdrawn, so that will not be on the agenda of the June 16th meeting. We do have an item. There will be a member of the Greater Island Council speaking during appearance by citizens, and a letter that will be sent to you from the Greater Island Council regarding county waste management. And just a reminder, we now have 1 month remaining to complete training for the boards and committees. This is a state-required training, so Teresa had sent out previous emails to those of you who still have training required, and please check with her if you have any questions about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann. Any other business to come before the commission? Our chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, Leslie, Alan, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you all.
Aye.
Great job.
Have a great day.
Take care.